Welcome to the Apple Daily News. This podcast is created by Generative AI. Today is August 9th, 2024, and we have a lot of exciting updates from the world of Apple technology. Links to all stories can be found in the episode notes. Apple has introduced new capabilities in iOS 17.4 and later that allow apps in the European Union to utilize alternative browser engines, moving beyond the default WebKit engine. Developers must apply for either the web browser engine entitlement for dedicated browser apps or the embedded browser engine entitlement for in-app browsing experiences. These features will also be available on iPadOS 18 later this fall. To qualify, apps must be distributed solely in the EU, be separate binaries from those using the system-provided engine, and meet specific functional, security, and privacy requirements. Functional requirements include passing a minimum percentage of industry-standard test suites, while security requirements mandate secure development practices, timely vulnerability mitigation, and adherence to modern transport layer security protocols. Privacy requirements focus on blocking third-party cookies by default and ensuring user consent for data sharing. Developers must also provide a vulnerability disclosure policy and maintain transparency regarding resolved vulnerabilities. The guidelines emphasize the importance of secure coding practices and the use of memory-safe programming languages. Apple aims to ensure that alternative browser engines maintain high performance while safeguarding user data against potential threats. Overall, these changes reflect Apple's commitment to enhancing user choice and security in web browsing within the EU. Apple has announced a new fee structure for app developers in the EU, following a ruling that deemed its previous App Store anti-steering policies in violation of the Digital Markets Act. The changes allow developers to link out to external websites for alternative payment methods without the previous restrictions, such as static links and mandatory redirection to web browsers. Developers can now use dynamic URLs and open links within their apps using a modal web view. A new user disclosure sheet will also be introduced, allowing users to opt out of seeing it when tapping external purchase links. The new fee structure consists of two tiers, the initial acquisition fee and the store services fee. The initial acquisition fee is set at 5% for new app users for the first 12 months, while the store services fee is 10% for purchases made within that same period. If developers opt for alternative business terms, the fees are reduced to 5% for the store services fee. However, if developers remain under standard terms, the store services fee increases to 20%. These changes aim to lower fees for developers compared to the previous structure, which could reach up to 17% plus the core technology fee. The new terms are effective immediately, and developers can review them on Apple's developer website, which includes an updated fee calculator. Overall, the adjustments reflect Apple's response to regulatory pressures while attempting to maintain its revenue model. Epic Games and Spotify have criticized Apple's recent updates to its Digital Markets Act (DMA) compliance plan, labeling the changes as illegal and deliberately confusing. The updates allow developers to direct users to non-App Store purchase options for in-app content without restrictions, but they come with a new fee structure that many find complicated. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney condemned Apple's introduction of a 15% junk fee, arguing that it makes it economically unfeasible for developers to distribute apps through both the App Store and competing platforms. Spotify echoed these sentiments, stating that Apple's revisions appear to blatantly disregard DMA requirements, particularly with fees that could reach up to 25% for basic user communications. Apple defends its fees as reflective of the value provided by the App Store, which includes app distribution and safety measures. The new commission rates for developers using external links range from 10% to 27%, which, while lower than previous rates, are still viewed as excessive by both Epic and Spotify. Epic Games plans to launch its own store for iPhone and iPad in the EU, charging developers a 12% fee for processed payments. This comes after the European Commission previously fined Apple $1.95 billion for restricting streaming apps like Spotify from informing users about cheaper subscription options outside the App Store. Both companies are urging the European Commission to take action against Apple's new fee structure, which they believe undermines the intent of the DMA. Apple is set to launch a completely redesigned Mac Mini featuring the new M4 and M4 Pro chips later this year, marking the first significant design change since 2010. This new model will be the smallest desktop computer Apple has ever produced, with dimensions approaching that of an Apple TV, although it may be slightly taller than the current version. The design will maintain an aluminum shell and is described as essentially an iPad Pro in a small box. The updated Mac Mini will include at least 3 USB-C ports, an HDMI port, and a dedicated area for the power cable. There will be 2 versions available, one with the standard M4 chip and another with the M4 Pro chip. The base model is expected to start shipping from suppliers this month, with a public release later in the year, while the high-end model will be ready by October. This generation of Apple Silicon will be notable as it will be the first time Apple uses the same chip generation across all its Mac models, with updates planned for the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, iMac, Mac Studio, and Mac Pro over the next year. The redesign aims to enhance the compactness and efficiency of the Mac Mini, appealing to users looking for a powerful yet space-saving desktop solution. Apple's recent updates to macOS, particularly with the introduction of macOS Sequoia, have raised concerns about the balance between user security and user experience. The company has implemented increasingly stringent permissions pop-ups, requiring users to repeatedly grant access for applications, which can lead to frustration and dialogue fatigue. This trend mirrors past issues faced by Microsoft with Windows, where excessive security prompts became a user experience nightmare. In the latest beta, users are now required to reauthorize permissions for screen recording and other sensitive features, which can be cumbersome, especially for long-time users of certain applications. While Apple aims to protect users from potential privacy invasions, such as spyware or unauthorized tracking, critics argue that the current approach is overly controlling and undermines user autonomy. The article highlights that while some permissions prompts are necessary for security, the frequency and nature of these requests can be excessive, leading users to agree to permissions without fully understanding the implications. Furthermore, the changes to how non-notarized apps are launched complicate the process, requiring users to navigate through system preferences and enter passwords, which some see as overkill. Despite the intention to enhance security, the article suggests that Apple needs to find a better balance that allows users more control over their devices, while still providing necessary protections. The current trajectory risks alienating users and could lead to a user experience comparable to the criticized Windows Vista. Ultimately, the author calls for Apple to address these issues to maintain the Mac's reputation as an open platform while ensuring user safety. Apple is seeking a senior software engineer specializing in Elixir for its environmental systems team in Seattle, Washington. The role, posted on August 9, 2024, requires strong skills in Elixir, Phoenix, and LiveView, along with experience in designing technical solutions through collaboration with various teams. The engineer will contribute to Apple's goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2030 by developing systems and tools that reduce the company's material and carbon footprint. Responsibilities include building complex web applications, planning and implementing new features, and ensuring a high-quality user experience. Candidates should have a bachelor's degree in computer science or equivalent experience, with at least 8 years in software roles focused on web applications. Proficiency in Elixir and SQL databases, particularly PostgreSQL, is essential. Preferred qualifications include experience with Phoenix, automated testing, and a desire to understand the technologies used. The position offers a competitive salary range of $166,600 to $250,600, along with benefits such as medical coverage, retirement plans, and stock options. Apple emphasizes its commitment to diversity and inclusion in its hiring practices. Invidious is a new client designed for the Apple II that allows users to access and play videos from Invidious, a YouTube alternative, and PeerTube. The application features capabilities such as video searching, displaying search results with thumbnails, playing videos with sound, and supporting subtitle reading in preferred languages. It requires a 128K Apple II with 2 serial cards and a 65CO2 CPU, along with a Searle server proxy for transcoding and resampling. Users can install the Searle server proxy by following instructions available on a dedicated page or through a video tutorial. To use Invidious, users must input a URL for a PeerTube or Invidious instance and can search for videos using keywords. The interface allows navigation through search results and video playback using keyboard commands. The setup requires 2 serial cables and USB serial adapters with specific configurations detailed in the user manual. Video playback performance can vary, with frame rates between 13 to 21 FPS, and there are limitations regarding HTTPS sessions that may affect longer videos. The development of Invidious involved integrating components from previous projects and enhancing the user interface. Future updates aim to improve subtitle support and overall functionality. The project reflects a commitment to expanding the capabilities of vintage computing systems while providing modern video streaming options. Apple has filed a patent application for a new graphical user interface (GUI) system designed to enhance user interaction with multiple device displays, including smart glasses and the Apple Watch, through eye tracking technology. The patent addresses the limitations of current methods for adjusting device positioning, which can be cumbersome and inefficient, often leading to user confusion and cognitive overload. The proposed system aims to provide clearer feedback on device positioning, making it easier for users to understand how their inputs affect device responses, thereby improving the overall user experience in virtual and augmented reality environments. The patent outlines methods for detecting the position of the device relative to the user's face, which is crucial for ensuring that displayed content is viewed correctly and that user inputs are accurate. When the device's position deviates from optimal alignment, the system can issue alerts to guide the user in making necessary adjustments. The alerts vary in severity based on the nature of the positioning error, allowing for a more nuanced response to user needs. Additionally, the technology is not limited to smart glasses and watches. It could potentially be applied to other Apple devices like iMacs, MacBooks, and iPads in the future. The patent emphasizes the importance of energy efficiency, particularly for battery-operated devices, by streamlining the interaction process. Overall, this innovation represents Apple's ongoing commitment to enhancing user experience through advanced technology. That's all for today's episode of the Apple Daily News. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to check the episode notes for links to all the stories we've covered. Stay updated with the latest in Apple technology, and we'll see you next time.